you for your company, as always, with us on Africa News 24 Television, your premier source for timely updates from across the continent and beyond. I'm Timothy Crown, ADERIBIGBE, bringing you the latest developments in politics, sports, and entertainment, and more. The headlines first. Defense headquarters warns Nigerians to be security conscious, particularly in crowded places. High Court adjourn impeachment case against Rivers Governor and Deputy indefinitely. Ondo Court remands man for stealing 4 tubers of yam. And to the details, we begin with the breaking news from Kano State, where the governor, Abba Yusuf, has resigned from the New Nigeria People's Party. The governor's letter, the governor left the party in company of 21 members of the State House of Assembly, 8 members of the House of Representatives, and 44 local government chairmen in the state. He announced his decision in a letter addressed to the chairman of his ward, Diso Chi Ranchi of the NNPP in Gwale local government area. According to the letter, the resignation takes effect from January the 25th, 2026. And to security, as the defense headquarters has advised Nigerians to stay alert in crowded places such as markets, churches, and other public gatherings. In a statement, the defense headquarters urged citizens to report any suspicious behavior or individuals to nearby security agencies. The military said public vigilance and cooperation with security personnel are important in preventing crime and improving safety. The advisory follows growing security concerns in busy public areas across the country. And to the presidency, where the presidency has withdrawn the nomination of former governor of Kebbi State, Usman Dakingari, as Nigeria's ambassador-designate to Turkey, barely a day after the announcement was made. The special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, had on Thursday confirmed President Bola Tinubu's approval of 4 ambassadorial postings from a list of over 60 nominees, earlier confirmed by the Senate. According to the initial announcement, Kayode Are, former Director General of the Department of State Services, was named ambassador-designate to the United States. Ayodele Oke, former Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, was posted to France. Amin Delhatu, former envoy to South Korea, was appointed High Commissioner-designate to the United Kingdom, while Dakingari was assigned to Turkey. However, a new statement issued by Onanuga today said no ambassador has been appointed to Turkey, effectively reversing Dakingari's nomination. The statement reaffirmed the postings of Are, Oke, and Delhatu, but made no mention of Dakingari, whose appointment was earlier announced ahead of Tinubu's scheduled visit to Turkey next week. The national electricity grid has collapsed again, although it is the first for the year 2026. Data from the Nigerian Independent System Operator indicated that power generation dropped to 0 megawatt, leaving electricity distribution companies unable to supply power to customers. According to NISO, load allocation to all 11 electricity distribution companies, including Benin, Eko, Enugu, Ikeja, Jos, Kaduna, Kano, Port Harcourt, Ibadan, Abuja, and Yola, fell to 0 megawatt as of this afternoon. The collapse left millions of homes, businesses, and public institutions across the country without electricity. DISCOs confirmed the outage and stated that efforts were ongoing to restore power once the grid was stabilized. Grid collapses have become a recurring challenge in Nigeria's power sector, often attributed to aging infrastructure, technical faults, and system overloads. This latest incident underscores the persistent vulnerabilities in the country's electricity supply. In politics, the People's Democratic Party has called for justice over the killing of 7 civilians at a mining site in Wat Kuru district just south local government area of Plateau State. The party condemned the attack and blamed the government for failing to protect lives. The PDP warned that continuing violence threatens peace and democracy in the state. The party demanded a proper investigation, prosecution of those responsible, and clear steps to address insecurity. It also expressed sympathy with the families of the victims and urged authorities to take urgent action to prevent further attacks. And in the court, River State, where the Oyigbo High Court in Port Harcourt has indefinitely adjourned the impeachment case filed by Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu. The case challenges the impeachment moves by the River State House of Assembly. Justice Florence Fiberesima said the adjournment would allow the Court of Appeal to first consider two separate appeals filed in the matter. Earlier, the court had issued an interim order stopping the Speaker, Martin Amawule, and others from forwarding impeachment documents or setting up a panel to investigate alleged misconduct against the governor and his deputy. Still in the courts is this interesting story of a 25-year-old man, Ayo Ajibade, who has been remanded in Okitipupa Correctional Center, Ondo State, after allegedly stealing 4 tubers of yam valued at 10,000 naira from a farm in Kiribo, Igbekebo area of the state, southwest Nigeria. The Chief Magistrate Mayowa Olanikwekun ordered Ajibade's remand until January the 29th, 2026, following his guilty plea to charges of felony and theft. According to the prosecutor, Ayodele Omoyeha, Ajibade, along with an accomplice who is still at large, entered the farm of Olorunjuwon Ibasan at around 5 a.m. on October the 25th, 2025 and stole the yams. The offense is punishable under sections 516 and 390 subsection 9 of the Ondo State Criminal Code. Welcome to Business. The House of Representatives Committee on Finance has confirmed changes to Nigeria's tax laws aimed at improving compliance and boosting government revenue. The committee said the alterations will simplify procedures for taxpayers and clarify areas of ambiguity in the existing legislation. Members emphasized that consistent implementation is key to achieving the intended result. Officials highlighted that the reforms are part of a broader effort to modernize Nigeria's fiscal system and attract investment into key sectors of the economy. The committee also noted the consultations with stakeholders, including businesses and tax professionals, informed the adjustments to ensure practicability and fairness. The changes are expected to take effect in the coming month, and lawmakers urged both public and private sector actors to familiarize themselves with the new provisions. In other news, EnterpriseNGR, an advocacy group representing Nigeria's financial and professional services sector, has launched its 2026 Macroeconomic Outlook, a financial and professional services perspective, a comprehensive assessment of Nigeria's economic outlook developed in collaboration with EY. We have more in this next report.
EnterpriseNGR, a member-led advocacy group representing Nigerians' financial and professional services sector, has launched its 2026 Macroeconomic Outlook, a financial and professional services perspective, a comprehensive assessment of Nigerians' economic outlook developed in collaboration with EY. The report examines the impact of recent structural reforms, including foreign exchange market liberalization, fiscal calibration, and financial sector strengthening, and outlines the implication of investors, policymakers, and the private sector. Speaking at the launch, ADERIBIGBE, Chief Executive Officer of EnterpriseNGR, noted that Nigeria is transitioning from a period of adjustment to one of stabilization and renewed confidence.
What is special about this report is that we have deliberately adopted the perspective of the financial and professional services sector. And in the report, basically, our conclusion is that with the recently instituted reforms since the advent of this administration, Nigeria is finally on the path of achieving, of coming out of the woodworks.
The associate partner at EY Parthenon, Olayinke Oyetunji, underscored the role of the financial and professional services sector in mobilizing capital, supporting real sector growth, and strengthening Nigerians' investment case.
Looking at the macroeconomic overview of Nigeria, Nigeria is in a phase where it's been able to stabilize its macroeconomic indices, inflation, interest rates, you look at the foreign exchange rates, everything, all the macroeconomic outlook is improving. However, we wouldn't say that Nigeria is already out of the woods, because what will make us to see the impact of this macroeconomic reform is when the welfare of the citizens are improved, and Nigeria is actually on the path of making sure that these reforms are being institutionalized.
Also speaking, the head of research at EnterpriseNGR, Omotayo Moritala, and his director of policy and public affairs, Oyelami Adekola, emphasized the need for consistent reform implementation to sustain confidence and deepen market outcomes.
The report looks at the broader macroeconomic fundamentals where we are now, and they're making projections to what will likely be in 2026. But beyond that, looking at the sector that we focus on, which is the financial and professional services sector, and project, growth and performance for that sector as well. And we are talking about banking, we are talking about insurance, we are talking about capital markets, we are talking about fintech, asset management, non-interest finance, sustainable finance, and professional services.
In our 2026 economic outlook, basically we've taken a look at the major indicators from 2025 and given a projection of where we see the economy going forward. I think the story around resilience that we had in 2024, 2025 is one that is good, but we're entering a solid era of stability. So we've seen the lag period of reforms, and we're beginning to see the impact of these reforms. We must sustain the reform agenda that we're currently on. Sustaining that is critical for us to achieve some of the outlook we've pushed, and that sustenance would lead in the medium to long term for solid economic prosperity for the country, but for the people of the country as well.
The 2026 Macroeconomic Outlook positions Nigeria as an emerging opportunity in non-oil sectors, including financial services, energy, technology, and critical mineral resources, while cautioning that sustained policy discipline remains essential.
And on the foreign scene, the United States President Donald Trump has inaugurated his Board of Peace, a new international body aimed at maintaining a ceasefire in Israel's war with Hamas. Trump said the initiative is for the world, emphasizing that the project could eventually rival the United Nations. Speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, Trump said, "I think we can spread it to other things as we succeed in Gaza," signaling ambitions beyond the ceasefire. The event featured Ali Shaath, head of a proposed technocratic government in Gaza, who announced that the Rafah border crossing with Egypt will open in both directions next week. Shaath, a former Palestinian Authority official, will oversee the Palestinian Authority committee governing Gaza under U.S. supervision. Trump claimed that 59 countries had signed onto the board, though only representatives from 19 attended the unveiling. He addressed the attendees, calling them the most powerful people in the world. Manchester United boss Michael Carrick believes Kobe Mainoo has the quality and character to become a key player for the club after a frustrating spell during Ruben Amorim's reign. Mainoo started for the first time in the Premier League this season in the first game of Carrick's interim spell as United dominated local rivals Manchester City in a 2-0 win. The 20-year-old shot to prominence in the 2023-2024 season under Erik ten Hag, scoring as United beat City in the FA Cup final and playing a starring role in England's run to the Euro 2024 final. However, he struggled for game time during Amorim's ill-fated 14-month spell as the Portuguese coach defied calls to play Mainoo alongside club captain Bruno Fernandes. Victory over City lifted fifth-placed United to within 1 point of the Premier League's top four. The mood around Old Trafford was also transformed by the positive performance, and Carrick is hoping it can be the foundation towards a positive end to the season as United aim to qualify for the Champions League for the first time in 3 years. Meanwhile, Arsenal will host long-time rivals Manchester United at the Emirates Stadium in one of the headline fixtures for the Premier League this weekend as the Gunners continue their push to retain top spot in the title race. The North London side were held to goalless draws in their last two league outings against Liverpool and Nottingham Forest. However, title rivals Manchester City and Aston Villa failed to capitalize on the slip, allowing Arsenal to maintain their advantage at the summit. Manchester United head into the fixture under renewed optimism following a change in the technical area. The Red Devils recorded a 2-0 victory over Manchester City last week in Michael Carrick's first match in his second spell as interim manager. Despite impressive results, United have struggled for consistency this season. Apart from a 3-game winning run in October, the fifth-placed side have been unable to secure back-to-back league victories. While Arsenal are favourites on paper, they are expected to approach the fixture with caution given United's recent resurgence under Carrick. The rivalry between both clubs dominated the early years of the Premier League, though Arsenal have not won the title since 2004, while United's period to dominance has waned in recent seasons. Elsewhere, Manchester City will welcome Wolves to the Etihad Stadium on Saturday as they attempt to arrest a poor start to 2026. City's struggles deepened earlier in the week following a shock 3-1 defeat to Norwegian side Bodo Glimt in the UEFA Champions League, one of the most surprising results in the competition's history. The defending champions are yet to record a league win this year, with manager Pep Guardiola admitting that several aspects of his team's performance have fallen short. entertainment, American online streamer Darren Watkins Jr., popularly known as iShowSpeed, has addressed criticism surrounding his ongoing African tour, stating that the trip is aimed at showcasing African culture and people rather than collaborating with influencers. The clarification followed reactions to his live stream from Lagos on Wednesday, which marked its first full day in Nigeria. The live stream drew large crowds, featured spontaneous street interactions, and produced several viral moments that generated widespread discussion across social media platforms. Controversy, however, emerged after some Nigerian content creators accused the streamer of ignoring requests for collaboration during his Lagos visit. Fans repeatedly urged iShowSpeed to meet Abib Hamzat, popularly known as Pella, a Nigerian streamer active on TikTok and Kick. Pella reportedly made several attempts to attract iShowSpeed's attention, including approaching his vehicle and later riding a horse through traffic. In a viral video, he was heard pleading for a collaboration, but iShowSpeed did not respond and continued with his planned activities. The incident sparked debate online, with some users questioning why the streamer would tour Africa without engaging well-known local influencers. Responding to the criticism, as reported, iShowSpeed said the aim of his Speed Does Africa tour had been misunderstood. He explained that the tour was designed to highlight African culture, street life, and undiscovered talent, rather than established influencers with existing audiences. And that will be all for now. You can follow us for more updates on these stories and others on our website, africannews24.ng. You can also follow us on all our social media platforms, so stay informed and ahead. I'm Timothy Crown, ADERIBIGBE. Good evening.